Hey, good afternoon. This is Neil with Simpler Futures at Simpler Trading. And it's Wednesday, hump day, the 8th of November. Powell spoke today and he speaks again tomorrow. ECB's Lagarde on Friday, along with the UOM consumer sentiment prelim, and so that matters on Friday. And other than that, really not much has changed since the last time we were together, which I think was just Monday, 2 days ago. And we were still looking for a little bit higher, trying to target 05. That's the one thing that has changed. It did trade 05 since we were together. It did that today, I guess, for a high of the move at 7 3/10 there, as you can see. So, not much has changed. I mean, what has changed, we hit the target, okay? What has not changed is anything else. For instance, remember we were talking about, well, when something does happen up here, we're going to see finally a lower balance. That'll be one clue. And then we'll probably see, maybe on the same day, but then we'll then probably see, if not on the same day, soon thereafter, a lower low finally. In other words, taking out a trailing most recent and lower, most recent low. In this case, it's most recent and highest low, because all the lows trading on the way up have all been higher lows. That's called one-time framing on the way up. That's not changed. Today it kept a higher low than yesterday, and it made a high for the move today. So what's possible here now, because of a formation that's also setting up on the daily chart with that inside range day of a couple of days ago, is very possibly a, we don't know yet, okay, but very possibly a high for the move. If not here, very close. And the way that we would anticipate that to start would be that we'll see today's low breached tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow finish with a lower balance than this consistently, higher, right? I mean, today was the same as yesterday. It hasn't, but it's not lower. And the number there is 96, 43.96. So we would see tomorrow, if it's ready to start, and would be on Powell surely, but if it's ready to start tomorrow, the retracement, then you'll see today's low breached, and tomorrow, and that would be tomorrow, and it finished with acceptance balance point of control lower than 96. If it also has tomorrow a lower high at the end of the day tomorrow than today's high, then that is the completion of that short setup on the inside range candle on the daily chart, which would then be another reason that we would suspect that the retracement's ready to finally begin. When and if that does happen, when the retracement does start, I hate to say if, because you almost feel like, surely everything retraces at some point, right? So when that is, we don't know, but when it does, we're going to have in mind some targets. I think the first target that you would want to look for would be 43.30. And that would be for the purpose of coming back and filling the first gap of 2 on the daily chart. And that is to recheck last Friday morning's non-farm payroll news price. If we get that far, and when we get to that, then I can start to prepare you for the next, retracement level. But I'll give you a hint. Go to look at a daily chart and look at the next gap. There's 2 gaps here. You see one gap right here at 43.30 that we're talking about, and then there's another gap down here, right? So may as well just go ahead and tell you it's going to be 42.65. Is what it's going to be whenever we get to being able to talk about that. And if it gets back there, right? I don't know until it does. Nobody knows until it does, but I can prepare you for what to look for here at the top to tell you that the retracement is underway and the targets that we're going to have for it in mind when and if it does, right? And that's it. I mean, I can't do any better than that. I can tell you it's going higher or it's going lower, right? If it goes higher, then pretty clearly what it's looking for is going to be the October highs. That's 44.31. That's pretty clear. That's what it would be after. However, if we do start to see it roll over here on a midweek shuffle Wednesday for a pullback Thursday, on Powell tomorrow Thursday, ECB Lagarde on Friday with UOM sentiment report Friday and that kind of thing, and then that's enough and it starts to bring it back in, well then it's headed lower, right? And if that's the case, then I'm telling you the target, 43.30. After that, I already slipped up and told you what T2 will be. I don't want... That seems kind of deep. I don't want you to think I fell off a wagon and bumped my head and you're like, oh man, come on, dude, you're out of your mind. But it'll seem a lot more likely and plausible when we're sitting at 43.30 to be talking about that second level than it does right now when you're looking at it thinking, like, no way, that's crazy, That's about it, really. Oh, the over-under. Yeah. The line in the sand that says, okay, we're going up or no, we're going down. That's not so terribly easy up here because this is like going to a theme park and there are lots of, available kind of points of interest or, potential things that you can do, right? Well, that's the thing up here too. Last week, balance 75, that was today's low. Well, there's one, right? Well, yeah, that's true, but what about today's balance, which is also yesterday's balance, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday combined balance, which is the microcomposite or weekly for this week's point of control, 96, just talked about it. And that's pretty fair. I don't know if that's the best one, but that's pretty fair. And I say that because, well, that's for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. True for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But if you scroll back on a daily chart and look at October 10th through the 18th, and you see that consolidation, that period of consolidation, well, then the over-under there on a higher time frame, right, because that's a whole week of trade that was overlapping, the over-under there is 44.02. So it's my opinion that there's a lot going on up here, and it could be this or it could be that. What's this and that? 75, 95, they're all important. Clearly, they're all important. That 75 last week, that's today's low, so obviously that's important. It closed at 96, so clearly that's important, right? But what's on a higher time frame than that? And so I think I have to go tie goes to the runner, i.e., you give it to the higher time frame for what's the most important, and that would be 44.02. So I have to say, in conclusion, it would then, for those reasons, now be my opinion that the answer is line in the sand, 44.02. If up, it's pretty clear what it's looking for. Just look for the October highs. And if down, it's going to close a gap and it's going to go back and see the non-farm payroll price down there. And you're going to know that's underway. May take a couple days to do it, but it's underway by the setup that I'm giving you with looking for lower acceptance and breach of low. And that would be breach of today's low, 75. Dragging balance down a little bit. Ideally finishing tomorrow with a lower high because that would complete that inside range setup for the short, etc., that kind of thing, right? So that's where I'm at. I think that's pretty clear. Hopefully, if not, reach out to me in the comments and tell me you tried, but it wasn't clear. Otherwise, yeah, I get it. It's clear. Line in the sand, target if up, target if down. The lean is down because it moved a long way in a short period of time and left this incompleteness, i.e. weakness, below in the form of these gaps. This just does not last. These gaps matter. Gaps fill. these are gaps that are going to fill at some point. I can't promise you when. Obviously, I'd like to know the exact time. I'd put fly on for the exact day that that gap's going to fill. But that's what I've got. So I'm going to leave that where it is with you, and let you reach out to me in the comments and let me know if this all made sense. Until with you again at the next update, good trading.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me